NBA Today.
The two best teams in the NBA will face off this week. Twice.
A fourth quarter onslaught from the Suns. Curry three!
Oh, I love angry Steph.
Tonight, the Western Conference champion Suns put their 16-game winning streak on the line. Phoenix hosts the 18-2 Warriors, intent on resuming their annual trip to the finals. On Friday, they'll run it back on the Bay.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
It's a good, measuring stick against the team that's in the finals last year.
We know how good that team is over there. They have a culture, they have an identity.
They have confidence in who they are. They have an identity of how to win games.
For two teams with only one goal, they may have to go through each other. This week, the Suns and the Warriors will get a sneak peek of what it might take.
Two best records in the NBA, and it's going to be a high-intensity, fun game.
Love the yin-yang twin vibe there. All right, so the top two teams in the league are facing off, and we have got the numbers behind all of their success. So both teams rank in the top 10 in, get this, both offensive and defensive efficiency this season. So they're getting it done on both ends of the floor. And you guys remember when the Suns started at 1-3 on the season? Well, that was cute because Phoenix has now rattled off 16 wins in a row. And with the win tonight over the Warriors, they would tie the longest win streak in franchise history, which was set in the 2006-2007 season when, they ultimately lost in the Western Conference semifinals against the Spurs. But the Warriors, they are back doing Warriors things. Their 18-2 record is the best of any team through 20 games since, that's right, you guessed it, the Warriors in 2015, the year they started 24-0, and then went on to win an NBA record 73 games. So I want to go back with the crew, with Monica, with Perk, with Richard. We may see these teams again. Yes. Mm-hmm. We may see them down the line. Mm-hmm. And they may get in each other's way on their road to the finals, right? So I know Chiney isn't here. Don't look so bored, Richard.
I'm locked in.
I know Chiney isn't here, but I do want to do a little cheat sheet for tonight's game.
Okay.
I want to start with you, Richard. What's your key?
I think whoever's going to guard Steph Curry, I really look at Bridges as the one guy. I know Jay Crowder is a very good defender, but I like him against bigger players. When you're looking at Bridges, he's the one person I think can chase around Steph. That activity, that movement. People, if you don't see it, especially this version of Steph where he has all the guys around him that can move, that is going to be difficult. So I don't even know who their second defender is. You don't want to wear out Chris Paul and Devin Booker trying to chase him around all night.
So your key is stopping Steph, and you're looking at Miles Bridges, who I've said before is becoming one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league to do that. All right, so Mikal Bridges, excuse me. Monica?
All right, so I agree with you, Richard. It's Mikal Bridges and friends, though. And I think you got to look at the depth that this Suns team plays with. They've got a second unit that is top 10. I believe they're 6th in the league in terms of the ability of that bench unit to also come in and be productive. And so the Suns have the ability to come at you in waves. Yes, Chris Paul, D-Book, Ayton, all those guys. But that second unit, not only are they scoring, but if you watch closely, Cam Payne does a great job of changing the pace with that team a little bit, right? So he's able to push the ball. They find some easy baskets in transition. I think that what this is going to come down to is not just Bridges, but the ability of the rest of the guys to communicate and deny, because Chris has said it. One of the most difficult parts about guarding Steph is how much he moves without the basketball. But if you can stay locked, the rest of the guys, right? Ayton in particular, maybe some McGee are going to be key in this ball game. I think that their defense will step up to the plate.
Well, when I look at both of these teams, I think when you look at the guard position and the wing position, I think it's a wash on both sides. I think it could go either way. I'm looking at the interior. I'm looking to see how the Golden State Warriors are going to match up with DeAndre Ayton and JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee has been an unsung. He's been an unsung hero because when DeAndre Ayton hasn't had it, JaVale McGee has came into the game and changed it completely with his shot blocking, his rim running, being a live threat at the basket. So I'm looking at how they're going to match up to them for us using Draymond, or they're going to use Looney, or they're going to make adjustments, sub him in and out early, because Phoenix is not going to, change up what they're doing like the Brooklyn Nets did when they played the Golden State.
Well, and size has been something that the Warriors, that's been their Achilles heel in some ways, and they've always kind of had to find ways around it and against it. All right, I want to bring in JJ for his biggest key. JJ Redick, what are you looking at tonight?
Well, y'all have alluded to this, but it's absolutely containing Steph Curry. To me, he's the hardest player in the NBA right now to game plan for because he's so good on the ball and off the ball. Let's look at on the ball real quick, because I think you have three options in pick and roll coverage. You can play drop coverage, which is probably out of the question. You can switch, which is unsustainable, or you can blitz. This is a little wrinkle Golden State has introduced in this two-man game with Dre and Steph. Instead of rolling to the basket and playing 4-on-3, he's coming right back to the DHO. There's no way for that big to get back. He's almost back in drop coverage on that second DHO. Here, Anthony Simons does an incredible job of top locking Steph on the same action. Draymond looks to come back for him. Because they've cleared out that side, it gives Steph space to find a passing lane from Draymond to knock down a three. Their two-man game and how they defend that is the key to stopping the Warriors. I also want to acknowledge his off-the-ball movement. Everybody thinks of the Warriors as a jump shooting team. They're fifth in the league in terms of their rate of shots at the rim. And so much of that comes from Steph Curry's off-ball movement and the awareness and overhelp that comes with that.
So you just gave us a great breakdown of what to see from the Sun side defensively. On the flip side, how are the Warriors, do you expect them to adjust if that's how they're locking down Steph?
I look for Draymond to be a playmaker, and they certainly have enough shooters. Otto Porter has been great this year. Jordan Poole has been great. Draymond can make plays, and so that's the adjustment they've made. That's a little wrinkle they've added where they go right back to that dribble handoff. But Draymond is more than capable if they're going to play blitz action all night in terms of making plays, finding shooters, finding cutters. There may be some switching, but I just think a steady diet of switching and putting Ayton on an island with Steph is unsustainable.
Steady diet of switching. I love that. JJ, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you stopping by. And since you're in New York,
Clay went down in the finals, and being back in this moment, just like that game in Brooklyn a couple weeks ago, they get to remind everybody, hey, we're at the top of the West. We have a chance to break Phoenix's streak, and we have a chance to say, hey, we're still here and we're not going anywhere. So they're enjoying the moment and they're looking forward to being on that stage.
Well, and one of the reasons that they are still there, Nick, is their defense this season. So what's the antidote to stopping CP3 and Devin Booker?
Malika, Draymond said you got to cut the head off the snake. And in this case for Phoenix, it's slowing down Booker and getting in front of CP3. This Warriors team, as you mentioned, is as deep defensively as they've been in a while. But for them, the key is they have Steph. But this now goes two ways because Steph's playing the best defense he's ever played in his career, and he knows it. And the rest of those guys know it. And then on top of that, how do you slow down Phoenix? You push the tempo offensively. So you get Steph rolling, you get Jordan Poole going early, and I think that's the way Golden State feels like it can control the tempo and force them into what they want to do the rest of the way.
Well, and we get a 2-for-1 this week, Nick. We get to see them twice. Thank you so much for stopping by. All right, guys. So I do want to know, starting with you, Perk, what is going to be happening tonight in terms of who is under more pressure to, as Nick said, cut that head off the snake and win?
Well, I mean, I think this is easy. And look, we cannot disrespect the team that actually represented the Western Conference. And so the team that's under the most pressure, in my opinion, in this game is the Suns. Not the Suns, the Golden State Warriors. When you think about...
Oh, look at that. That went flip-flop real quick.
No, because I meant to say that because the Phoenix Suns are bringing back everybody, right? They represented the West.
Yep.
And then you have a lot of young guys that are on the Warriors team. I feel like they have been playing well, but this is a real test for them. A guy like Andrew Wiggins, a guy like Jordan Poole, a guy like Gary Payton II, because Phoenix also have young guys to match their energy, their athleticism, and they both play the same type of style of basketball on both ends of the floor. When you look at the Phoenix Suns, they're so connected defensively. Guys are tied on the string. And so when I look at this matchup tonight, I think the Warriors have the most to prove by trying to get this win.
There's a lot of things that you said that are correct, and I'm not going to disagree. There is a lot. I think there is pressure on the Golden State Warriors. The only problem is that the Golden State Warriors have champions. They have two-time MVPs. They have Defensive Player of the Years. And the way they're looking at it is like, we're back to being the best. Not we're back in the postseason. We're back to being the best. So my thing is this. The Phoenix Suns have more pressure. One, because they have this streak going. And that streak adds pressure. As the streak goes longer and longer, that's just a little bit more pressure on them. But for the Warriors, they're looking at this like, we're the team to beat. They believe that because they have championship pedigree. Even though the Suns got to the finals, they didn't finish it off. And so I just look at the Phoenix Suns and saying that, hey, if they lose this one, it'll feel a lot worse for them than if the Warriors were to lose this one. It will hurt a little bit more because the Suns have to prove to the Warriors that they can beat them. This type of team.
So you don't think this is house money for the Warriors? At this point, this is the form that they are used to being in rather than, oh, I need to go and I need to prove something this year, because they have a bunch of new guys in Jordan Poole and those type of players, Richard.
Let's just say this. There is a Chris Paul, Steph Curry thing that's been going on for years. That is no disrespect. So when Steph Curry's the best player and Chris Paul's the best player, we've seen Chris Paul send Steph Curry home. We've seen Steph Curry send Chris Paul home a bunch. So you have your two best point guards that are going to be battling. So whoever wins that, there's going to be a little bit extra there.
I also think this is a moment for Devin Booker. Right, when you have these young up and coming guys that are, that we consider young superstars. Like last week, I watched Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant go at it, and I watched Jason Tatum kind of come out like, this is my friend. With KD took it personal.
Sure.
Yeah. And so when Devin Booker has an opportunity to be on the big stage going against Steph Curry, doesn't mean they're going to be guarding each other, but if it's two guys that's on that floor, one from each team that are capable of dropping a 50-piece wing dinner, is Steph Curry and Devin Booker. So I'm looking forward to Devin Booker taking it personal, meaning going out there and establishing and saying, you know what, I could go bucket for